that I have decided to give him lifelong patron of ISACA Abuja chapter. Please give him a round of applause. You are very much welcome, sir. We appreciate you and all that you do for ISACA Abuja chapter. I'd also like to recognize the presence of Mrs. Priscilla Ekwere Eleje. She's the Director of Currency Operations, Central Bank of Nigeria. Please, madam, you are welcome. Let's rise for recognition. Please clap, better clap more. If not, you don't have any signature on your naira. Clap more. All right, you're welcome, ma'am. We are honored by your presence. I also like to recognize, I did yesterday, the presence of our distinguished past presidents. I would like to start with Mr. Ikani Inusa. Please rise for recognition. Yes. These are the heroes past of ISACA Abuja chapter. Yes. So, and also I would like to recognize the presence of Mr. Chimenka Ezeribe, our immediate past president. Let's give a round of applause. I also like to recognize the presence of Mrs. Iyabo Adeleke, former director of CBN. Please rise for recognition. You are welcome, madam. You are welcome, madam. All other dignitaries, you are duly recognized, and in the course of proceedings, I will do well to recognize those that come in subsequently. Thank you very much. All right, we had a wonderful time yesterday. It was very impactful, and there was a lot of knowledge transfer. And I want to assure you that today, we are going to experience that in even greater measure. Our first paper that we're going to be taking is titled Building a Smart City and its Economic Implications. That's what we're going to be having first today. And to present that paper is Mr. Peter Obadari. Let's have the citation and then we'll bring him up to the podium. Dr. Peter
Adewale Obadari is the co-founder and the Chief Operating Officer of Digital Encode Limited. He is arguably the most credentialed cybersecurity professional in Africa, a Pan-African cybersecurity thought leader, fellow British Computer Society, Chartered Information Technology professional, the first licensed penetration tester in Africa, second COVID-5 certified assessor in Africa, and payment card industry data security standard qualified security assessor. He is a seasoned cybersecurity expert and GRC technopreneur with over 47 international professional certifications to his credit. Peter's skills and experience span cybersecurity, information security, vulnerability management, penetration testing, computer forensics, business continuity, IT governance, risk management, and compliance. He is a platinum team member of Open Source Security Testing Methodology Manual, as well as a senior member of Risk Managers Association of Nigeria. Peter is the recipient of the 2017 Fate Alumni Model Entrepreneur Award and the 2018 African Leadership Magazine Medal of Honor Award in Business. He is an alumnus of prestigious institutions and programs such as the Fate Foundation and U.S. Department of State Exchange Program, Harvard Business School, Harvard School of Government, MIT Sloan School of Management, MIT Professional, and Oxford University Said Business School.
Please make welcome Dr. Peter Obadari. You're welcome.
Right. Yes, good morning, everyone. Okay, so it is my great pleasure to be here this morning. I think the last time I was here, and it was a great experience. I promised you that we're going to cross-fertilize ideas again this morning. And I want to use this opportunity to say big thanks to the president of ISACA Abuja chapter for this privilege. All right, because I have 50 minutes, I'll just go straight to the point. All right, as introduced, as we speak today, these are all my professional certifications, and they are all up to date. I keep challenging professionals. That is not just having certificates. Yeah, those 47 professional certifications are actually up to date. So please, the only thing that is new, it's the last time I was there, I was a mister. But right now, yes, I'm a doctor of cybersecurity. That's my partner, both. Yes, I'm doctor of cybersecurity from Trinity International in the US. All right, so we're going to be looking at the concept of smart city, right? So at the agenda, we're going to be looking at introduction and smart city anatomy. We're going to look at case studies of top smart city in the world, all right? And then the pros and cons of the smart city. And then the question is the readiness assessment for Nigeria, to be able to judge ourselves. I'm not going to judge you, to know whether Nigeria is a smart city. There are assessment maturity that you can use to see whether a city is actually smart or not. Okay, so before I start, I would like to start with this starting thought. Is this very familiar to us? Yes. Abuja people, you guys live in a very serene environment. You don't have troubles like some of us that live in Lagos. Yes, this is a typical Lagos. Will you say this city is smart? I'm not going to say yes or no. But this is a typical, that I'm asking, is this familiar? This is what we face every day in Lagos. Alright. So, and then, also, is this familiar? It's only in Nigeria that you see traffic lights, and there will still be a policeman to man that traffic lights. Because the essence of traffic lights is for that process to be automated. But you will still see last man, you will still see police officers, manning those things, That is not an idea of a smart city. Alright, so that's what I'm saying, is this familiar? And then the last one is this. Why, it's too fast. Yeah. Okay, so is this familiar? I don't know. Abuja people don't have this kind of pictures, though. Don't worry. But this is, believe me sincerely, this is a typical what you will see in Lagos. But the reality is, in the 21st century, when I was called to speak on this topic, there is no better time to talk about, smart city than now, right? Because the reality is, by the year 2050, according to the United Nations, a lot of cities will be urbanized. What it means is there's going to be a lot of revolution of technology powering so many cities all over the world. And I keep telling a lot of professionals that, see, sometimes, we have this thinking, Nigerian thinking, we have Nigerian time, we have Nigerian everything. But unfortunately, because the world is now a global village, there is nothing like Nigerian time. Because you are now part of a global village, so we need to align with the thinking of the world. All right? So, because with smart city, we need to align, our strategy to make sure that Nigeria cities too is aligning with that global thinking. I want to just quickly play a video, as to build a foundation of understanding that what is a typical lifestyle can be, when you live, in a smart city. So please, can I have the video quickly? Let's see the video. All right, typical lifestyle in a smart city. Because to some of us, the way we live our lifestyle, I remember even comparing Lagos and Abuja. A friend of mine, here's a true life story. A friend of mine came to Abuja some time ago. He was shocked because, there's some lifestyle that we're used to. If you're not careful, there's a way it affects your psychology. When the guy came to Abuja, Abuja, all of us want to relocate to Abuja now. The guy came, and the taxi that came, he was at the bus stop, and the first thing he did was to rush And people at the bus stop were looking at him and saying, what's wrong with this man? They thought he was mad because he's used to what? Rushing in Lagos. But Abuja, if you don't rush, it's even only one person that will just be in a taxi and you're enjoying yourself. But in Lagos, it's not like that. So now, so as a citizen as well, please can I have the audio?
Fully automated banking experience in 2020. Every minute. Imagine how many times your bank must have been talked about while you finish watching this video. Each conversation is a business moment for you to create a memorable experience for your customers that they would want to share with others. Envision the world's future. From smartphone to a smarter phone. From a car with a driver to a car without a driver. Future is the next present, where our imagination today has become Lisa's fully automated banking experience in 2020. While Lisa is sleeping, her phone receives a notification regarding the shipment, which is ready with the exporter. The intelligent software checks for funds and notifies her bank that she would need a letter of credit. Understanding an urgent change in schedule, her phone automatically resets the alarm for 7 a.m. so that she can plan her day. By the time Lisa is ready to go, her smartwatch receives a notification that her black vehicle is low on fuel and suggests that she drives the red car. The GPS selects the shortest route and Lisa arrives the New Age Bank's intelligent branch sharp at 9. From the moment Lisa arrives at the bank's special branch with no staff at all, the door installed with intelligent communicators scans Lisa to notify the bank about her arrival. Bank's interactive walls talk to Lisa to tell her about how she can transact better with bank's offers or corporate credit. Meanwhile, her smartwatch directs her to a special kiosk where the bank welcomes Lisa, automatically logs her in, and connects her to an expert, who is a client of the bank too, to guide her about the needs for the letter of credit. Within minutes, her letter of credit is approved, the exporter receives the payment, Lisa's shipment is released, and the time is just 9:15 a.m. Rewinding to today, can you imagine the intelligent banking experience on a vacation? While Ted is enjoying his vacation, a bike, Harley, passes by, catching his attention. The bike has been Ted's dream since school. Ted takes a picture and uploads it on his social media account. Instantly, bank's intelligent software picks up Ted's interest in this bike, analyzes his post on social media, his sentiment, his conversations about the product, and after analyzing his spending pattern, the bank offers a pre-approved bike loan along with information on the best dealers around, their discounts offered, and the color options available, all on the go. While Ted is still on vacation, bank's geotagging technology identifies Ted's location, instantly analyzes his credit card spending pattern, and offers him the best deals on bike accessories at a nearby store. And this is not all. Before the vacation ends, the bank delights Ted by offering him free airline miles and complimentary hotel stay to plan his next vacation. Imagine millions of customers like Ted for a bank like yours. The intelligent software enables you to continuously track millions of social media conversations to engage, interact, and offer a futuristic banking experience to your valuable customers. Place, time, or medium no longer matters. Engage your customers.
Alright, so now that's the typical lifestyle that you can experience in a smart city. Essentially, it's to make you a smart citizen, to live a life that is worth living. Smart city. Essentially, it's to make you a smart citizen, to live a life that is worth living, not the life of that my friend that came to Lagos and he thinks everything in life you have to fight for it. You understand? And essentially the definition of a smart city, without speaking too much English, is what? Is a city where it's powered by what? By information technology. Honestly, it's as simple as that. You can imagine yourself, you're closing from work, and even if you don't have a smartwatch, but your mobile phone is already telling you, is already planning your time, is already telling you that it's calling your name and it's saying, oh, Mrs. O, you are going home now, you only have 2 cups of beans at home. Are you sure your husband is going to eat beans today? Do you understand? Because where there's availability of data, it's telling you your gas, you are running low on gas. And then if you want to get home before 5:30, don't pass through, don't mind me, I don't know all the roads so that I don't start saying all the roads in Lagos. But it's telling you that don't pass Lube, they are kidnapping in Lube, That is what? Because why? There is availability of what? Of data and information. So your life become what? Very, very predictive. You are living a predictive life, so that's the essence, okay, of a smart city. And I'm going to quickly ask us a question. There are two events. One is 2005 and one is 2013. Who can recognize those two events? Those two events, 2005, and what's your observation? In 2005, quickly, I don't have time. Okay, you can see in 2005. Let me help us because there is no time. In 2005, there is no light. It was dark because people were concentrating. But in 2013, can you see the light? The mobile phone, the advent of technology is now ruling the world. Of course, it's having an impact on the way we live, the way we do everything. Everything we do. So, next slide, please. I forgot. So, now that event is actually, that event in 2005 was the inauguration of Pope Benedict. Alright, so you can see in 2005 was the inauguration of Pope Benedict, and 2013. People were there's no technology to take pictures, but today as we speak, there's so many things that has revolutionized the way we live, we interact. There is Facebook, Instagram, Insta Story, Facebook, Insta Story. You get things as it is happening. Alright, why? Because of what? Of all the digital technology. Most of the mobile phones that we carry today, they're not just phones. They are mini computers. Because if you recall, I remember in 2005, this same 2005, I bought a laptop that time. Guess what? Everybody in Lagos, all the professionals were hailing me because why? That time was the first time there was an IBM 1 gig RAM. Because if you have been following systems, that time we have 256 memory, 512. But suddenly I bought one IBM ThinkPad, 1 gig RAM. People were like, wow. But right now, you want to hear the truth? That your Samsung mobile phone that you have is running 4 gig memory, 2 gig memory. So that means it is actually powerful. So we carry a computer in our hands, which means that, from that perspective, technology is going to change the way we work, the way we live, and it's happening. That's why these days somebody is celebrating the birthday. By the time you say happy birthday on Facebook, you have even forgotten to call the person. And the guy is now calling you back to say, you didn't even say happy birthday to me, and you're wondering, what else do you want? I'll put your picture on Instagram, I'll put your picture on WhatsApp, and still asking me to call you for birthday. Because you see, in no costly, technology is changing culture, it's changing everything, right? So, technology is going to change everything, but now for a smart city, all right, so a typical smart city, if you look at the problem with a traditional city and a smart city, in terms of planning, infrastructure, of system operation, investment, and citizen engagement, in a traditional city, there is an ad hoc and everything is decentralized. Cost savings are not realized, limited potential for scalability for investment, all right? Then also, but in a smart city, things are very coordinated. It's holistic. Resources are shared, cost savings are fully realized, investment are scalable, improved city planning and forecasting. Those are the things you see in a smart city. And in terms of infrastructure, of course, the infrastructure runs inefficiently in a normal traditional city, okay? And then cost more money and resources to run. But in a smart city, optimize with cutting-edge technology, save money and resources, improve service-led agreement. These are all the things because there is no time that you see in a smart city. And you can tell, I'm going to be sharing, I don't know much about Abuja, but at least for Lagos, sometimes you wonder, there is traffic for 4 hours, for 5 hours, and you are wondering, you get there and all the tankers have just blocked the road. And you keep thinking to yourself, these tankers, are they ready to load now? And you'll be wondering, they will tell you, personally, I had an engagement, I had to come down from my car to ask that this continuous traffic in Lagos, is it that in fact, I was shocked when they said that even most of those traders, that they're not even going to load anything onto the next 3, 4, 5 days. And you start to ask yourself questions. Why are they on the road? So that is the challenge of a traditional city. Things are not smart. You understand? People behave anyhow. There is lawlessness and all of that. Because of what? Lack of technology. You understand? And it's only in Nigeria too. They will tell you that vessels disappear on the sea. Because what? The city is not smart. You understand? Because in a smart city, there is availability of data. Though someone was saying, when I was coming for this presentation, the guy, my partner, he was laughing at me that while he wants to go and talk about smart city in Nigeria. I just see that even the concept of smart city in Nigeria is intentional, that we don't even want the smart city. He now gave me an example about the votes. You know, there were two, that there was something that happened, that one of the political party called some guys to come and implement software for them. And then they had, one of them was doing presentation. While he was doing this presentation, that this software, it is impenetrable. You cannot reach with this. Okay. They said they were looking at him. They clapped for him. That fantastic presentation. You know, the guy left and another guy came and said, this software, if you want to, it can allow you to change 1 to 1 million. He said, this is the software that we're looking for. So what am I trying to say? In essence, the question is, do we really want to build a smart city in Nigeria? That's the questions we need to ask ourselves. Because we can speak all the English and everything. See, we already know what to do. But the challenge is, do we really want it? Alright? Because, you know, when you look at some of the problems that we face in Nigeria, all other countries all over the world are facing the same challenge. But they are leveraging on technology to solve these problems daily. Yes, we don't have, because you hear people say, this problem is unique to Nigeria. It's not true. It's not true. It's just because we have just refused to, honestly, if you want to demystify, this is Abuja. I'm a Lagos man. But the reality, you hear they talk about, even our military were doing spiritual warfare for Boko. And then, no, sincerely speaking and frankly speaking, you want that technology, ordinary drones for surveillance can do all of those things, but that's what other countries in the world, because if you look at top smart cities in the world, I don't know why the slide is not aligning. That's New York. The very first one, okay, there's New York. Let me say why, sorry, the first should be, okay, so New York, it's in the second role, the number one top smart city in the world. New York has, a lot of population if you've been there before, but the reality is, you see, there was the last time I was in New York last year, you think to yourself that if there is no electricity, this city is dead. Because honestly speaking, so which starts to come to the question is that you can't achieve any smart city, let me not lie to you, without electricity. Let's not deceive ourselves. Because electricity is the bedrock, to achieve, electricity. Because when you talk about information technology, you need electricity and you need broadband internet. Yes, without internet, that phone in our hand is useless. It's because now we have data, you can connect with people with the world. So, you see, but in New York, these are the ways that they are, they're using technology to solve water problem in New York. They know the number of water, the volume of water that they can get per day, so that they can position the citizens right. The same thing in London. London is using technology to solve, to power their education, entertainment, fashion, finance, and media. All right. That's Paris also is doing the same thing. And then that's Tokyo, because there's no time. There's so many cities in the world using technology, but let's look at all these. We want to look at the anatomy of a smart city. Different areas where you can use technology to solve problems. Technology should solve problems, not to create problems. And of course, essentially to save us what? Money. So, and those areas are what? Transportation, buildings, utilities, environment, infrastructure, public. All those different areas, technology can solve problems. You know, if you look at Lagos now, flood, like almost like, you know, I was watching a video yesterday that there's a part of Lagos in the Sherry that is almost submerged in water. But the reality is, if there is adequate technology, we will have forewarned those people. Yes, our meteorologists are trying to tell people to move, but that data is not real. People can't make informed decisions because essentially in a smart city, there should be a citizen engagement because the technology is solving problem for them. So let's see in terms of transportation, in a typical smart city, of course, there will be driverless vehicles, you know, smart parking meters, you know, it's going to be something that will be seamless in a smart city. And then of course, congestion sensor will be in a smart city to be able to predict the road, to say, oh no, don't pass this place, there's a congestion, there's an accident on the road and stuff like that. Why? Because there is availability of data that is monitoring what is on the road. That's the beauty of what? Of smart city. So what you're going to see in a smart city is what? Smart transportation and mobility is what you experience in a smart city. Okay? Also, in terms of buildings, you know, you have autonomous buildings that are smart. There won't be incessant, you know, the destruction of buildings that nobody can tell. You know, it is only when things have happened, you know, then we're always looking for there's a building collapse. We now form committees to know why that building has collapsed. That's a traditional city. But yes, we have old buildings. If there is technology, the technology will be able to, like I said, it's going to be a predictive environment because it's going to test all the, you know, using drones to know that, wow, this structure of this building is weak. And it's telling the right people that are responsible for environmental structure to say, oh, go and mark this building for destruction so that before people die. You know, that's what, and then you're building, that's what, you know, there's smart thermostat, optimized heating and cooling effect, smart fire detector, connected controls. That's what you see in a smart city, all right? And then, of course, there is streamlined and responsive utilities. In terms of all for citizens utilities, water monitors, smart LED, lamp post, and smart grid. Okay, so that's what you see, you know, in a smart city, and then the environmental harmony. Because in a traditional city, there's so much pollution. You know, the carbon dioxide emission is very high. You know, instead of our FRS, you see you're driving your own car that is brand new, that even the carbon emission is very low. It is you that they will come and arrest. But the car that is in front of you, that is the fumes, that is almost even blinding your eyes, they are not concerned. But because in a smart city, essentially there should be environmental harmony, which is the reduction of carbon dioxide, because it's very harmful to health. So in a smart city, you monitor the carbon dioxide emission and car pollution, and then so that the life expectancy for the citizens can be more quality. And then also the infrastructure, dynamic and adaptive infrastructure. You know, that picture I showed you about Lagos, that all those wastes, there's a country a city in Brazil, they have exact problem with Lagos. But today, they are using technology for recycling, and that same problem they have, they clean up the whole waste in that city. But still, year in, year out, Lagos still keeps having that problem because the city is not smart, though they call it mega city. But you wonder, because the idea of a mega city is for the city to be very smart. You understand? And it talks about, having a dynamic and adaptive infrastructure, earthquake detection, and then structural sensors. So, and then of course, public engagement and security. For citizens, in times of smart city, there must be emergency cameras. Help dispatchers determine the severity of emergency and find optimal routes. Facial recognition cameras. Detect smartphones provide, with Wi-Fi, allow users to communicate within smart city. Because the mobile phone become a useful tool in the hand of of the citizens. That's what a smart city entails. So now, the pros and cons. So let's look at the economic benefit of a smart city, and how it will restructure the economy. Of course, there will be cost optimization. Cost optimization means, the cost of governance is going to be optimized, even from the government perspective, because when the environment becomes predictive, things go on smoothly, So that is the idea of a smart city, of optimal efficiency, in the city. There's going to be optimal efficiency, disaster mitigation, whether from flood or whatever kind of disaster, there will be a reduction in disaster because there are things that is making the environment very predictive, and the quality of life. The quality of life. You cannot, from the citizen point of view, when there is smart city, the citizens enjoy more. A friend of mine we're talking last week, he was shocked that he never knew that he was only living, how he said it was, he was only existing. Yes, that was what he said, he wasn't living. I was like, what do you mean? His house is one of those houses in Sherry North now. You understand? And he has to move. He said, people, you need to see the kind of life that people live. You understand? So, so the quality of life is very low. But when there is a smart city, honestly speaking, it's not about whether you live in Lube or you live in those far places. There was a time I was in the US and my friend picked me up. We drove 2 hours. In fact, all those aspects is as developed as they want, so because they want to create a smart city, irrespective of where you live, so that everybody can achieve the same level of work, infrastructure. So in a smart city, there's no discrimination because everywhere you see, everywhere is developed. That's the idea of what? Of a smart city. Yes, that's the idea of. In fact, they even enjoy the government enjoy more when people live outside, so that they're creating a sanity around even the city. So of course there's connectivity. Everybody can connect through the internet and communicate. So there will be inflow of talent. Though the challenge in Nigeria where we don't want automation or smart city probably is because people believe that they're going to lose their jobs. When especially in everywhere that fear of we're going to lose our job, we're going to do this. The good news is this. This is what I tell. If there's a disruption, and this disruption is coming, whether we like it or not, digitization, because we're talking about digital economy, whether we like it or not, digitalization is going to disrupt everything in the world. Whether Nigeria is ready, yes or no. But because this is a group of professionals, this is what I say. That yes, some jobs will go away, there is no doubt. But there will be advent of what? Of new jobs. So as ISACA, that's actually why we're here to know that the question you should be asking yourself is, where are the new jobs? Where are the new skills that I need to do all? That I need to develop? Because in the smart city, when data is available, then we'll be talking about what? Big data. You're going to be talking about data analysts. All those kind of jobs. In fact, before now, you won't see an environment where you have chief transformation officer. Those kind of jobs they were not there before. But right now, in fact, you go to the banks, now you're having jobs like digital transformation officers, digital Ds. So in the government sector too, all of those things will exist because digitization is going to revolutionize. There will be data analytics. There will be business analysts. So that's the question we should be asking ourselves. Not to be afraid that our jobs are going to be taken away. But when we understand the flow of the flow of new talent, we'll be able to develop our capacity to know what kind of skills do we need to do to build. You understand? And I tell a lot of my older friends, some of us have made up our mind that see, these are nonsense digital economy that they're talking about. We have seized our mind. It's not a problem because some of us already have fish farm, poultry farm that we want to retire. But the truth is, your children, you should let them know, because there will be what? In the smart cities all over the world, inflow of talent. And you see a lot of Nigerians youths, they go to schools, they say there are no jobs. Each time I laugh. When I meet people, and I can't say this honestly outside. Every time I meet people and I say, there are no jobs, and I say, no, you don't have the skill to do the job that is available. Because we want to hear the truth in cybersecurity and all of these things that we do every day. In fact, if I have like 50 rules to fill in cybersecurity as I'm talking to you right now, even in Nigeria. But the question is, most of those people, do they have those skills? They do not have. And nobody is ready to train anybody because they want people with what? With ready-made skills. So yes, we can train people. So those are the things we need to start to think about. That how do we build capacity for those new roles? Not to be afraid that our jobs will be taken away. Because if we start to think like that, honestly, till this wars we end, Nigeria will never experience what a smart city is. Because people will be truncating, the effort. So there's going to be a smart economy, smart ecosystem, better sustainability. That's what we're going to see in a smart city. Smart transportation system. All those motorways in Lagos will be gone. You understand? That's the truth. So there will be smart buildings, big data. Data will be available to make predictive decisions. And also because, of course, there will be challenges in a smart city. Don't forget, a smart city is a city that is being powered by what? Information communication technology. Hyper-connected. Everyone is connected. So we still have the responsibility to make sure we do it right. Why? Because, yes, the hackers can hack us. That's the truth. When the grid is being powered by what? By computer. So that means, of course, the hackers too can hack it. Okay? So those are the cons, because everything, so that if there are vulnerabilities within the systems, just like what happened with the Saudi Aramco, anywhere there could be ransomware attack. The same kind of attack you can think with a typical system can actually happen in what? In a smart city. You just discover that even the traffic control can be controlled by hacker. When you're supposed to see go, you will see come, and then there will be collision everywhere. That is if we have not implemented it well and there are vulnerabilities within the system. So, let's see smart cities barrier, lack of smart city visionary. We need visionary leaders to build smart city. No matter how we speak the English, honestly speaking, you need, the leaders to think about, look at Dubai. Honestly, it's one country. Yes, let's forget about US. Let's forget about London. Dubai, we cannot overemphasize what Dubai has done. It's because there is no time. I wanted to play a video too. Dubai is already thinking, they are giving themselves a challenge that everything that they've seen in America, see, life is not difficult. Just copy and paste. That's life. There is no need to form committee to be doing, innovation. Dubai did not, honestly speaking, let's not waste our time. Just copy and paste. That's what Dubai has done. That dancing fountain in Dubai Mall today, it was first where? It was in Bellagio in Las Vegas. Bellagio wasn't even dancing. It was only dancing without music. What the man went there, I'm sure the man with his kaftan was looking, okay, and he just said, don't worry, and we'll speak the language to them, So when we get our own, we'll build music. And then also make the surface area to be more, so that we'll become #1 dancing fountain in the world. You understand? And that's what we need to do. So we need smart visionary leaders. Nothing. The same Marriott that you will see in America is what you will see. But what did Dubai? What did they do? They just said, okay, our own. Okay, the one in America is 14 stories. Let's make this one 55 stories. Just copy and paste. You understand? But that copy and paste, you need what? Smart city visionary leaders. Of course, lack of financing can be a major barrier, alright? But the truth is in Nigeria, we have what it takes to build a smart city. Let's not deceive ourselves. Let's not deceive ourselves. So our problem in Nigeria, yes, with due respect to all the authority, I think we have the money. Yes. So lack of citizen engagement. We need to create awareness. You understand? And that's what we're doing. Part of those awareness is for people to frustrate the efforts, because what you see in some environments is when the leaders are trying to be visionary in their thinking, because there is lack of citizen engagement, they are afraid. There's no proper communication. They say, no, don't worry. Your job will not be taken away. We're going to train you. There's going to be, how to train you on how to do all of these things. They are going to still keep your job and stuff like that. But that is not there. And of course, each time there is actually something to do, the citizen is going to frustrate the effort of the government. So that's actually why there is a need for what? Citizen engagement. Lack of ICT know-how. People need to be trained on how to use technology. Use technology, it's very, very important. Because without that, you cannot build a smart city. And then, smart city enabler. Electricity. We don't need plenty money. All these, we need to build Shiroro Dam. All those speak English that we're speaking every time. You know, and there are countries in Africa that are already demystifying all these big English we speak in Nigeria. Look at what Rwanda has done. Clean energy, solar. You know, in Africa now, you know, Rwanda built the largest solar, you know, farm in Africa. Just to say, see, yeah, because the construction of building dams those days, yes, let's reduce costs. Part of smart city with solar panel, and you know what? I don't know, I can't remember how many megawatts of power that we have. I think the last time they're talking about 8.5, 5 point something or what? 5, right? The entire Nigeria of almost 200 million, right? And with solar, look at what Rwanda just built. 8.5 megawatts. Go and ask them. I don't want us to, so that EFCC will not come and ask me to come for questioning. Do you know how much they have spent? They've done 8.5 megawatt through solar. It will, do you know, it can, you know, so building smart city, we need electricity. Let's tell our able minister, let's use solar. You know, we are a country with what? With sun. It can help us. Yes, you might be saying, you know, what people will tell you, you don't think that it's as easy, you know, Nigerians too. I don't know, you know. We are not, we should become smart citizens. You know, I don't want to use the other word, or with due respect. Let's not, see, let's become smart citizens by engaging ourselves. This information, so that if you want to know whether I'm lying or not, part of being smart citizen is go online and validate this information. You understand? Because I have to validate, do a fact check. Because if somebody can build, you know, solar with 8.5 megawatt, so what are we talking about? It means we can do it. But of course, in a traditional city, the truth of the matter is there are actually some estates in Lagos, I'm sure, even some homes. You understand? To be honest with you, even in me, in my house, I won't lie to you, my house is smart. Let me just tell you the truth. I don't really see. In fact, even my neighbor in Lagos, though, has caught himself up Nigerian grid. Let me just tell you the truth. We use solar 24/7 years. In fact, even before I bought into it, I think this man, everything is generated here. He doesn't have generator. He used solar panel. He has over almost 36 solar panels to power his life, and he's been living very fine. There is no headache of a code distribution, a code this, a code that. He's living okay. So what am I trying? But that is going to, those are silos implementation. Those are silo implementation. In a smart city, things should be what? Centralized. It makes us to think better. It gives quality of life, you know, in a smart city, but you need electricity. And then, of course, when there is electricity, the next thing is what? The internet. The internet. Oftentimes, you don't have signal. Do you know why? Because the telco provider, the base station, when they have been running on generator for 24/7, you know, if you know those MTN, that's why sometimes they have backup generator, they have backup and backup and backup of the generator that is doing backup of the generator. You understand? When the backup of the backup is down, what happens? There is no light, there is no signal. You don't be saying hello, hello, hello. So when you're talking about cost reduction, you are losing money because the conversation that you're just supposed to pass in 1 second, you're hello, 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 but we know Nigeria, we don't have data. You have lost probably maybe in that hello, hello, hello that you can't hear, maybe 10 naira. You call again, you've lost 10 naira. Maybe before you now pass the message at the end of the day. You know, so when you're saying cost reduction, because at the end of the day, the cost is being passed to who? To the citizen. To the citizen, because you still have to make that hello, and the hello must be clear at the other hand, or you're losing money. So you need electricity, and you need data, you need connectivity. You know, those are smart city enablers. Yes, don't worry, I'm rounding up. Yes. Conclusion, smart city readiness assessment. You need to now think, where is Nigeria? You can see there is level 1, there is level 2, there is level 3, level 4, and level 5. In level 1, which is HADOC. HADOC means every implementation in a traditional city is what? Is in silos. Operation focus on digital and data-driven service improvement, capturing. But so in Nigeria, you can see level 2, there is system collaboration, holistic system, cross-boundary. But where we should go is where? Level 5. You know? But I can tell you, I'm going to leave this slide so that we can see where is Nigeria in conclusion. Where is Nigeria, because there is no overall roadmap for digital transformation. All of those things. So we need to know, to see where. And then, as we're talking about Nigeria as well, you can use this assessment for your own organization as well to know in terms of, do you have a smart organization? You understand? Because if your organization is not smart, also because your organization is a subset of the smart city, the destruction is going to carry you away before you now start to go and pray and fast and say devil is doing you. It's not devil. World is going smart. Even as a citizen, you must be smart. Everybody. We were in the US. Like in Nigeria, when you want to check in, you have to be writing. We go to those places in the US, some of the borders in the US now. You do this thing, the computer is there. You now see Nigerians, they'll be waiting. I beg, help me. So that is the implication when you are not even a smart citizen. You go to some countries, you cannot do anything, just be looking, because they have been used to Nigerian system all your life. So please, be a smart citizen. So my final thought is, without the right vision, plans, talent, and funding in place, smart city programs will not reach their full potential. And the question is, where is Nigeria? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Wale. All right, let's give a round of applause. I expected nothing less. Right? Let's give another round of applause. Thank you very much. All right. I know there will be questions, so let's ask the questions that we desire to ask and get the mic over to you. Let's take like 5 questions. That will be all right. So if you have a question, please indicate, and we'll get the mic over to you immediately. Okay, there you are.
Good morning. Yeah, please, my question is, you mentioned some cities like New York, Dubai, and other smart cities. And I want to ask a question. Were these smartness done once or in chunks, moving from one city, small city, to bigger city? And an example, I've heard again that there's one in Lagos, Eco Atlantic, that's trying to build a smart city. From your assessment level, where will you put them? Is it the first? Is it the fifth level? Thank you.
Okay, yes, the gentleman. Mr. Chaha.
Thank you for a good presentation. You talked about smart city, and the foundation of it is the data. In Nigeria, data gathering, the foundation, when the authenticity of data from Nigeria, in that is another issue entirely. So my question is, how do we now build data in Nigeria that can be reliable? Especially, even to get BVN to where we are now, it took a lot of efforts. To the, what you call the NIDSI and whatever, driver's license, you bring a driver's license today, somebody will say it's fake, it's not fake. You go national ID card, they say, so these are issues of data in Nigeria. Even the government itself have not been able to harmonize this, to have a single, reliable data that even outside this country can be trusted. If you bring your passport from Nigeria outside here, you're talking of it in this state. People sometimes they look at it whether it's fake or it's not fake. So, and the foundation, like I said, this data, we need to start as professionals to establish a reliable database in Nigeria. Not a data being hosted before you don't say it's cloud. Cloud is even the database. Not because in the way you go outside there, they say everything is cloud. Your Nigerian data, critical data in Nigeria, is being hosted outside this country. And then want to build smart cities. How can we go about it? Because everything revolves around data, and which is the foundation. Maybe you can have advice. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's make our questions punchy, please. Okay, you can. Let's come to.
Between physical infrastructure and city digitalization? Which one comes first? If your answer is city physical infrastructure first, then where do you put Nigeria? Are we even set? Thank you.
Thank you. So the gentleman behind.
Good morning, everybody. That was a good presentation, actually. My point I want to make is actually to us as a body. Now, when we have things like this, informations like this, how or what are we doing to making sure that people who are in position of authority, not just our offices now, I mean our politicians themselves, what are we doing to making sure that they get this knowledge and see how it can help them to perform better even in their offices, so that someday we can actually start planning and working towards this. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, one last person.
Yeah, thank you very much, presenter. Smart cities you mentioned requires a lot of investments and all that. So, looking at the countries that you modeled, was it solely driven by government participation, or is it a form of hybrid between public or private? So, can you shed some thoughts on that?
All right. Thank you very much. So, why don't you can take that away?
All right, thank you very much. Okay, thank you for all the questions. I think for, those countries really that we mentioned, the reality is, that's actually why we need a visionary leader. The initiation was actually done, strategically from one city to another city, and then of course other cities now, actually get, because the way their own government is structured, like in the US now, when you go to the US, the state has the autonomy to do a lot of things, unlike in Nigeria that where we look at, the federal government. So, of course, it was done, from one city to another city, but now they are all getting there. Right, so where do we place Eco Atlantic? It's because I do not have time. I wanted to actually play. I have the video of the Eco Atlantic. If you see the video, believe me sincerely, honestly, with the infrastructure that Eco Atlantic is building, you almost like keep them like they're in level 4, to be very honest. But the challenge is this. My challenge is with Eco Atlantic is fantastic infrastructure, smart city, but Eco Atlantic is just a subset of what? Of Lagos. So what you are creating is, you are creating the truth of the matter, you are creating a smart city within a dumb city. If you allow me to use that, because when you leave that surface area, you come to the next road, there are potholes everywhere, and the city is already dumb. You have trailers, so you understand. So that's the challenge we have in Nigeria. So what we're saying is, it should be something that we should look at, because even beyond Eco Atlantic, there are other even estates within Lagos that they do a lot of things. One guy called Sujimoto, if you see most of his houses building, they are smart houses, powered by Internet of Things and stuff like that. But we're saying that the infrastructure should come from government. Individual, no matter what we do, the government has to build good roads, the government has to build infrastructure. Honestly, to achieve smart city, all these flaws that we're talking about, even if you have data, yes, our meteorologists have told us that there will be, because given to, we're not totally, that's why it's ad hoc. Yes, we have smart people in Nigeria that can tell you that these are the problems, but the challenge is this. If the underlying infrastructure is bad, achieving a smart city will be difficult, because vis-a-vis what has been done in those other countries, you will see that there is a lot of government initiative, of course, private government-led initiatives, but primarily government is the king, anytime, any day. Yes, so Eco Atlantic is a smart city, but then it's a city within a dumb city. My opinion, yes, and I can say it anywhere. So data, I want to, the best way I can do justice to data is, I don't want to be one of those Nigerians so that we don't just pull down Nigeria. No. We actually have data. We have data, honestly speaking. I think that what we need, my opinion, personal professional opinion, is there is a need. Look at what the bank, and thank you mentioned the BVN. When the other sectors were not ready, the banking sector today the BVN is a good representation of quality and reliable data that the banking system have created for themselves, which is a good plus to what the Central Bank of Nigeria has done. Honestly, it is a reliable data because, in fact, if you know what is happening in the fintech industry, a lot of people are using the BVN data to create a lot of innovation. But what I think is lacking is the consolidation of data. You know, everything is in silos. So I will just seek the indulgence of the authority, maybe from the citizen engagement. Let them be collaboration. You know, collaboration will be the key word to say, okay, look at what the banking sector have done. So when NIPSI2 is doing, let there not be power tussle, because that's what I think, you know, with due respect, to say, see, it is about what? We want to create a smart city. Yeah, the CBN has done something very fantastic. Let there be collaboration. Whoever is now going to be the government to manage the entire data, then let us know. You know, instead of now trying to rubbish what the banks have done, because that's a reliable data, honestly speaking. So, and that's actually why I said, I think collaboration and centrally consolidation of data might be the way to go, because we have actually done some things right. Yes, that would be my personal take. Then the question around which one will I say, physical infrastructure, digital infrastructure? Honestly, to me, they are like a Siamese twins. A Siamese twins, you know, you can't have, yeah, both of them are very important, because the physical infrastructure, if you look at everywhere, is very key. First and foremost, okay, a good example is, I'm going to use the flood example again. Our meteorologists now, they've captured data, right? That there will actually be flood this year. But the question is, when you go to those estates, especially even in Ondo, I'm hearing a lot of, you know, even in Ondo flood, you want to hear the truth? Most of the, you know, because there should be, I don't know more about, you know, those government parastatals, but I'm sure there will be an environmental department that is responsible for when a new estate wants to be built. Who is in charge of the drainage? I can tell you, even in Lagos, most of the best estates, you get there is no drainage. And you'll be wondering, how do you build? So the physical infrastructure is as important. When you now get to those estates, you have CCTV cameras, you have all of those things. Believe me sincerely, even your CCTV camera is all the sensors, Internet of Things is there. If there is no drainage, there is no drainage. What I will find is level, you will still experience flood. Do you understand? So my point is, the physical infrastructure is as important as all the digital enablement that we build on it. So that's what I would say. So we need to make sure that the physical infrastructure is actually right. All right. So now, yes, for government, well, the president, where's the president? There. So they have to take this to the government. You need to, because the only way is engagement. You know, sometimes let them see the possibilities of what is smart city. So ISACA, and really, it's not because I'm here. I think out of all the security organizations that are very organized in this country is ISACA. Even me, they dare to see. You know, they're asking me, they're very organized. So I think they can take this message, you know, to the government, you know, for more engagement. Then investment, really, I think it's both private and government-led initiative. But then the government has to take the bull by the horn. First and foremost, then the citizens start to trust the government. They start to trust the government. You understand? So, but if the citizens, there are a lot of things that the citizens today in Nigeria, and my own NEPA, and my own everything, and generate water for myself. That's the honest truth. So, of course, the private are already doing a lot of things, but it takes the government to take the bull by the horn. So that's my submission.
All right, thank you very much, Wale. Dr. Wale, always a pleasure to have you. Let's give him a round of applause once again. All right, we've done justice to that paper, and we'll go ahead with our proceedings. It's always good to give honor to whom honor is due. And so I would like to recognize the presence of Mrs. Olajide, former Director, CBN. Please rise for recognition. You're welcome, madam. Nice to have you around. You're welcome, ma'am. I'd also like to recognize the presence of Mrs. Chaka Okoye. Please rise for recognition. The Director, FIRS. She's also done so much for ISACA Abuja chapter, and by way of encouraging the staff in FIRS to be rightly placed, one, and also ensuring that they participate in conferences like this, right? So let's give her a round of applause. You're welcome, madam. We also have Mr. Owoye Oluwole. He's also a director in CBN. Please rise for recognition. Where are you, sir? Where is he? Am I looking in the wrong direction? He's not yet here? All right. When he comes, we'll do that. All right, so thank you very much. Next, we'll be having our next paper, also very, very interesting. And the title of that paper is Digital Enablers for Free and Fair Elections in Nigeria. And to deliver that paper, we have the honor of having in our midst engineer and to cap it up, Prof. Stephen A. Additional. Let's have his citation read and we'll bring him forward to the podium.
Professor Steve A. Additional, Computer Engineering and Vision at the Nile University of Nigeria, where he also served administration. After a very successful computing career in the private sector, Additional joined the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in year 2000, where he pioneered the setting up of the ICT department and led teams to deliver several information technology interventions in elections, including delivering the electronic voters register. He served as a consultant to INEC from 2016 to 2018 and as a resource person to the Electoral Institute. Professor Steve's research interests is in using computer vision techniques to analyze medical images. He is currently working on automated cancer detection and diagnosis. Additionally, he has done tremendous work in using technology to achieve good governance and has published several papers centered on electronic voting. Professor Additional holds a bachelor's engineering degree in electrical and electronics engineering from the University of Ilorin, a master's of information science degree from the University of Ibadan, and a PhD in computer vision from the University of Manchester, Manchester, United Kingdom.
Please let's make welcome Professor Steve A. Additional. Let's give him a round of applause as he comes forward.
Good morning, everyone. Let me use this opportunity to thank the organizers of this conference, ISACA chapter, for inviting me to share my opinions on digital enablers for free and fair elections in Nigeria. I have several certificates and certifications too, but one of the things that put me in a position to be able to discuss this is that I
was the pioneer director of IT in ICT, actually in INEC. I was there for about 11 years. I also worked with three INEC chairmen, that's Gobadia, Iwu, and then Jega. So the last one is that I am no longer a civil servant. And so we can actually talk the facts, and I will not be afraid of anybody to tell you what I think about the situation. So election, true. Elections, I thank my brother for that fantastic presentation on smart cities. But I tell you the truth, smart city, smart grid, whatever you call it, will depend on good governance. If there is no good governance, none of this is coming to pass. And elections are so important. I mean, it's not the best form of government, and you know, it's not the freest, it's not the fairest, but we don't know any other one that is better. And the reason is that, okay, so you can manage to get that when if people vote will matter, and you could choose to misbehave when you're there, but the people will have the power to remove you. That is the beauty of elections. And in some climes, the idea is that, and I hear this around, smart city is not possible. Unfortunately for us, as a people, there's a paradox. The fact that you agree that the internet penetration is low, our level of infrastructure very low, but unfortunately, it is countries like ours in sub-Saharan Africa that have very low penetration of internet, low internet infrastructural level, that actually needs to apply technology in our electoral system. Because it is with us that we don't trust ourselves. I don't know whether you know that. We don't trust ourselves. If I get my brother from the north, if I've not known him for a long time, I will say, then the one from the east. And we have different, I'm not going to go into it, we have different names and different descriptions for ourselves. And they are not flattering, they are not good things. So we have trust issues, we have trust problems. And up till we speak, you also know that we don't have an identity card system yet. Or we don't have an identity card system. Well, NIMSI is doing a lot of work, but I don't have my card. And I've registered for like 2 years now, but I still don't have a card. So we have issues. And so my topic is digital enablers for free and fair elections in Nigeria. So I'll be talking about, I will introduce us to this topic, some basics about election and what the electoral processes are. I also talk to digital electoral process in Nigeria. It may look as if we have not done that in the past, but we have. Then I'll look at the benefits of a digitalized technology in Nigeria, challenges of implementing SAIL. Then I will also look at the framework for the future. And then specifically we'll look at the way forward for Nigeria. I hope we'll have a lot of questions. This is Hong Kong. They have been protesting for more than 6 months. And this same kind of thing actually happened about in 2014. And now the last, one of their demands now is that they want what is called universal suffrage. That means they want democracy. They want a situation wherein one person will vote and then they can change their government at will. We have several of these. So looking at the introduction, I want to just quickly look at the stakeholders in the electoral process. So we have the voters, you and I. Hopefully we are registered. Because one of the things I found out is that, especially in the past, when you go around looking at monitoring the electoral process, especially the voting process, you find out that in Maitama areas and all of those, in the past, the people that will come out to be the cooks, the security guards, those are the people voting for us. If I say everyone that is registered should raise up their hands, there will be a problem. But I'm not going to do that. But if we are not registered, then we deserve whatever kind of government that we have. So whatever the trouble is about registration, I think as elites, I think we need to register if we want to have a hand in choosing who leads us. Then the electoral body is also a major stakeholder. Electoral body is supposed to be independent. It's supposed to be perceived to be independent, seen to be independent. And we have INEC as the electoral body. I'm going to leave you to judge whether INEC is fair or not, and I think we'll discuss about this. Then we have the political parties and the candidates. They play a vital role. I'll tell you something. Most times when elections are rigged or things happen to elections, we tend to just heap it on the chairman of the Electoral Commission. But I've seen many of them, sometimes when they receive the result, you just look at, can this result be true? So really, they are actually sometimes as helpless as those of us are, because the politicians know how to rig elections. They are not going to come to the headquarters to rig elections. They go to the grassroots, the local governments, the polling units, the state offices. That's where they go to rig elections, not up here. Then the electoral observers, the NGOs, the international observers, I know most of us don't like them, but they play a vital role in saying the truth. They have nothing to lose in telling us the truth. And the EU report is out, several other reports are out concerning the last election, and the verdict is actually not exactly 100%, neither is it 70%. So what makes an election free and fair? There should be eligible voters. People who vote should be people who are registered, who are supposed to vote. I can tell you that until recently, until about year 2003, okay, let me not say this before somebody will come and arrest me. Okay, I'll tell you. When I go home, my father will tell me, there's a card for you. How they get that card, I don't know. But there'll be a card for every child that he has. And I think the ones that you imagine that he will have had, there's a card for somebody to use to vote. And that's the way, so I'll just be given a card and I will vote. But that has changed. You agree with me that has changed now. And that's where voters should be eligible. We have elevated the process to the point of, if you're holding a card, you should also be the owner of the card that you're holding, which is a good thing. And we must give it to INEC, actually, to their voter registration, giving it to BVN. I actually tried the BVN system, by the way. I tried to go to another bank. I wanted to see if it is working. So I said I didn't register before. And I put my hand, and they found out that I had registered. They even told me the bank why I did it. So I told them I was just going to try the system. I hope you know that this guy is collecting our data. The mobile phone people, you know, they're not doing anything. I don't know whether I know. They're not doing anything. They're just deceiving themselves and us, collecting the data, because there's no use using a small device, collect data without any central thing, checking and comparing things. So you will go again when something's wrong, they collect your data again, only God knows what they're doing with that data. So we must give it to INEC though, that the voter register that they prepare and the voter's card is today being accepted in the bank as a means for identification. And I think that's a very good thing that INEC has done in that respect. So, an election, for an election to be free and fair, there should be verifiable voters, there should be dispute fairness and dispute freeness. It's not that there should not be disputes, but there should be processes and procedure for dealing with this dispute, and the court should be fair. Then the election itself should be accurate, especially the result computation should be accurate. The electoral process includes voter registration, voter authentication, balloting, vote collation, and vote transmission. Voter registration is the one they do for voter register. That's when we get a permanent voter's card. Authentication is when you get there and they bring a device. They say put your hand, and then they put in the card, find out if you are the owner of the card. And then balloting is what, of course, you give you a ballot paper, and then you put your thumbprint or whatever print that you want to put there. And then vote collation and vote transmission. Voter registration is almost completely done. The problem is people die, and we have no means of, our voter register is still full of dead persons because there's no means of there's no effort to remove the people who are dead. And given our death rate, there will be as many as 8 million persons who are in the voter register who are not supposed to be there. Apart from that, is the fact of underage registrant underage voters. There are quite a number of them. And by way of research, we've done some work in this realm to be able to actually differentiate, classify underage voter as compared to people who ought to vote. And I think what INEC should do in this case is that if you could actually classify people you suspect to be underage, publish their name, and ask them to bring evidence to show that they are not underage. If they cannot, take their names off the register. I think that can be done if there is the political will to do so. Then, so balloting is not automated in any way. Voter registration is automated. Voter authentication is automated. Vote collation. What do you think? What of transmission? Okay, I'm sure I will get the question about servers. No problem. But do you know that INEC actually piloted in some of the states vote collation and vote transmission? It was actually piloted, which means that there were systems that have been built to do it. And we read about ZPAC. They actually purchased some devices that could snap the result sheet and also transmit. They have software that can you can punch the number of votes from every polling unit, and it sends to a central server and sends to the registration areas and the local government headquarters and state headquarters. But I think we will discuss this later. Okay, so voter registration, we have electronic register. The efforts at voter registration, the registration system actually started as far back as year 2000, year 2002. And the one we're using today was compiled in 2011, and it forms the basis of the BBC that we have today, and then the voter authentication that we had. You will maybe agree with me that one of the best elections, in my opinion, was the one that happened in 2015. That's a personal opinion. I may be wrong. Then there is voter authentication actually happened that time, and balloting. So voter authentication is automated. Balloting is not. There's no technology at all. It's just you put your hand there. Then vote collation. There was indeed the INEC actually had plans to do vote transmission. I don't know. Some of these things, there's the context, the environmental context issues, and then there's the political will issues. This actually works together to ensure that whoever is in charge will do what he ought to do. Political will is very important. Okay, so I'm going to go through this quite fastly. I don't want to keep you for any longer than necessary. This is just to look at where we're coming from. In year 2002, we collected data using what is called OMR form. We all used OMR forms whilst doing our SCUSAT exams. So the forms were shaded, and then there were scanners, and then fingerprints were collected. Then special scanners are used to scan those things, pick it off the papers, and also pick fingerprints. that at that time, as far back as 2003, we were able to actually do automated fingerprint identification system. But it was a voter register without photograph. It is not because the INEC did not think of putting photograph, but there are issues, acceptance issues. If you still look at our voter register today, there are issues, people who have their calves, and some people who have their hair ties and things like that. And that's not good for recognition if you want to use such database for recognition. So, that's the OMR, and then in 2007, I know we had the DDC machine that was intended to be a very portable device like this, but there were issues with suppliers, and later on we had to resort to actually using computer system with webcam and fingerprint scanner to collect the data. It was a very chaotic thing because people were chasing the machines, and so they were supposed to be the voters are supposed to be collected into polling units, but everyone goes to register wherever he finds. So it was a very chaotic one, and it was no surprise that when the Lega administration came, they actually discarded that voter register to start a new one, which I consider to be much better. And so in 2011, the DDCM direct data capture machine and AFIS was also introduced. In this case, we did almost the same equipment, the same components, a printer that prints the temporary voter's card for you, and then a fingerprint device, and then the webcam party. So I spent some time looking at this, and I can identify children who have been registered. So there are underage voters. Let us not deceive ourselves about that. There are several underage voters, and it's not limited to one area alone. Underage voters from north to south, they're there. Then, of course, there are issues with people not collecting their PVC and then being given to other people. Voter authentication, the farmers and some people, because of fingerprint, sometimes they may not be authenticated. Vote collation and transmission, there will have been problems, but let us assume that for now, that INEC did not do vote collation and transmission in 2019. The Electoral Act, whereas it gave INEC sufficient power to actually use the transmission of votes if they wanted to do it, but it's not sufficient. So, and you will recall that the Electoral Act, the new Electoral Act that they proposed was not signed. I'm not even sure if it's signed as we talk. So there are social cultural problems. We must not see introduction of technology as the solution to the problem. We should look at the social cultural context of where we're introducing the technology. That's why, for me, the introduction should not be a big bang, because we still need the trust of the people. Because no matter what you do, if the people don't trust whatever you have done, then the perception actually is everything as far as. So we need to look at the social cultural context. Then cost is an issue, especially in the immediate term. The cost of the equipment is quite expensive, but in the long run, given that you will not be printing ballot papers now, soldiers now, security, if you go electronic voting, which is what I'm trying to advocate, you need to worry about security. If you want, the easiest way is to say people should vote online, but nobody is, except Estonia, nobody is ready to do that because the risks are vast. Whereas you can even control the security at the server end, you cannot control the security at the end where the device the voter is using. So there could be malicious codes on the voters. So internet voting, it's fine, but I think it will take some time for people to use internet voting for proper elections. Some countries are doing it, like Estonia, like I said. So framework for the there should be synergy. I believe that there should be synergy. All stakeholders should be taken along. The voters, the political parties, the NGOs, the observers, the electoral management body, the security personnel, all of them should be brought into whatever is being done. And then there should be appropriate legislation to support whatever technology that will be introduced. There should also be sufficient research, like it is not space science, to classify people who look underage from those who look mature. It's not space science. Today, if you want to check your age, there are apps on the internet that you can just put your face, it will tell you what age you are likely to be. So it's not really space science if we have the political will to do it. Of course, voter education, whatever we're doing, we need to carry the voters along. Now, still looking at the framework for the future, so which way to go? There are devices called, these are voting kiosks. They will be like ATM. Many countries are using these. ATM because they can be well protected, reasonably protected to avoid hacking. But if you put this in my village, there will be a problem. Now, there's the voting tablet. Actually, in my school, I actually designed a voting system for them. The students actually use a tablet to do their student union government voting. And it's been used for 3 or 4 years now without any problem. But even that is not going to be easy for my grandmother, because some people do not even know how to scroll. So if we adopt this, there will be a problem. The phones are available to be used to vote, but there will be issues with the phones. Imagine if you're my wife, and I pay all the bills, and you want to vote for somebody that has not supported me. I'm going to sit with you, do your voting. Right? I'm going to sit, do your voting, and let me see whom you are voting for. Or I am contesting, and you are not planning to vote for me, because as my wife, you are actually the one that knows that I'm not able to do anything. You know what I mean? Because we come out and we show ourselves, nobody knows anyone. Maybe the wife does not even know us too well, but at least sufficiently enough to know whether you deserve to lead. So the wife or the husband should have a right not to vote for his husband or the wife. So, so this will be difficult because people will be forced to, and then the malicious code will come. But this is the voting system that they use in India. And I think whatever we want to say is our challenges are, I don't think any of them in population, in difficult terrains, that it's not still comparable to what obtains in India. They use camels, we use camels, they use whatever to carry their voting equipment, but they use this system. Why I like it is that, of course, because of the advent of technology, what we do will be different. They have basic electronics inside, but it's like they paste the ballot paper on top of a box. So it's not difficult to teach somebody, just press the button that is near the person that you want to vote for. So this is very, very simple, but it has to be in our own context. So whatever we are adopting should be something something very easy. I promise to keep to that, and I intend to do that, so I'm going to stop as soon as my time is up. So for the future, the last speaker talks about cybersecurity and all. If you have a system on the internet, you couldn't beat your chest that nobody can hack into it. They've hacked into Microsoft, they've hacked into Google, they've hacked into even Intel chips. And so, but there are ways and means of protection. One of such is blockchain. Because of the distributed nature, unfortunately blockchain is distributed. And elections are not exactly a distributed system because there is an electoral management body that wants to maintain control as to what is happening. So there is a conflict there, but we'll just look at what to do. So in the future, we will employ blockchain. And I'm happy that there are many financial persons here. Cryptocurrency, whether we want it, whether we like it or not, is going to take over sooner or later. So, and that's the technology that backs up cryptocurrency. Then we could do online voting. It's not advisable. So blockchain, I just tried to explain, and I'll just read to save time. Blockchain-enabled voting seeks to harness the decentralized blockchain protocols for voting without the control of a central authority such as electoral management body. BEV attempts to eliminate tampering with votes through cryptographically secure voting records. This enables the votes to be recorded accurately, permanently, securely, and transparently. Block-based e-voting also protects the anonymity of the voter while enabling public audit of votes. So this may be one way to go. That's blockchain. But blockchain in itself, if you design your system based on blockchain, and then you take the control from the electoral body, then you have issues. And when something goes wrong, you are in trouble. Whoever is the designer is in trouble. So for me, you could have a blockchain-enabled system with blockchain integrated into the design of the system. But you could also have a blockchain-enabled integrity support that will give blockchain by way of just some SDK that will just pick some aspects of the voting system and then secure it. And what happened in Sierra Leone in March 2018, sometimes thereabout, actually, some companies actually helped them to secure the number of votes. So they have nothing to do with the process. But then blockchain, you could say blockchain was used sparsely in Sierra Leone, in the last Sierra Leone election. So my preferred model for blockchain is to allow the electoral system to do their thing, and for blockchain to do blockchain to support the system in such a way that there's no interference. But then you can be sure that the votes and the data, even the identity data, everything is secure and it is what it ought to be. Nobody can change it. That's my preferred. So I still have 5 minutes to go. So let's look at what I think as a way forward for Nigeria. I think we should adopt e-voting for the entire voting process. I think we should do that. And that means that we should adopt e-voting for balloting. Then I also think that we should adopt blockchain for security purposes in a non-intrusive manner. I think that the balloting component should be implemented and integrated into the existing system, since people are already fairly, if you say smart card reader, nobody's afraid of smart card reader now. And so you can use it with, I'm not saying turn the machine into a balloting instrument, but you can attach the machine to a balloting instrument, so if you're authenticated, then you can vote. Then we should also adopt a simple and user-friendly balloting system, maybe the one that looks like the Indian system because it will work. Then we should publish and transmit results from polling units electronically, that is by punching in the figures, even with mistake, send it. If they still insist on the paper copy, scan it, and then send it. Do not send it to INEC alone, publish it on the website, so that everybody will see it. Then that the voters themselves will check, the political party will check, and there will be no dispute in the courts, because I'll have the signed copy, I will also have the punched copy. So I think there is a need for political will in this respect. So it's very important to publish and transmit the result from the units electronically, run a parallel manual system, result collation system. You can also scan and publish results online. You know, if you want to shift over completely electronically, there are several dangers. Kenya tried it, and they had to actually cancel an election. So for me, the advice is that those who like the papers, let them go along with the papers. But let us send the result from polling units. Let us publish the result for the entire world to see how it is going. And then let them carry their paper and then compare later. But we will know who has won. And by so doing, nobody can change the results. one of the things the Abiola election, the election that was announced, one of the things is that Abiola was a communication person. So he had agents all over the country that were sending results. So CNN and other people were getting results and they were publishing it. So that's why people still have the result of that election. Even though, and well, I think it's also been recognized now. So if people will get hold of the results, CNN, BBC, all of this, they're not going to wait for the official result. They're going to publish what is being sent, so long as it's right. It may not be the acceptable result as it's right, but if you have to change it, you need to have to provide sufficient effort, sufficient evidence to change the result. If the result is not, my advice to any person, any chairman is that you create a monster that you cannot control. If you can create a monster that you cannot control, then when they come to beg you or to beat you or to slap you or to threaten you, say, well, even if you kill me, what can I do? It's there. The result has been published. What can I do? Am I going to go and change it? So I think that is what anyone if I were to advise anyone, what I would have asked is publish the result. Even if it is wrong, you can correct yourself and apologize later. So I say run a parallel manual system because trust is important. Some people will not believe anything except it's manual. So let's do the manual system for them. Then publish indicative results online as they have been transmitted. I talked about that. And it was done in the 2003 elections. Enact and enable legal framework to ensure seamless adoption of e-voting. Remove underage voters and deceased voters from the register. Conclusion is there. I'd like to stop here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof, for respecting the time. Let's give him a round of applause. Unlike Ambori yesterday that I fined about 5 billion. I think I should give Prof 5 billion. Let's give a round of applause, please. Thank you very much. All right, so that was very, very erudite presentation. Of course, I expected nothing less. I believe that there will be questions, so let's ask away. We have 10 minutes for questions, so let's take 3 questions. 3. If you'd like to ask a question, please, just indicate. Okay, so we'll have you, and Mr. Itaha, and okay, let's take you, because you raised your hand before. We'll see how the time goes. Okay, so.
Thank you, Prof, for the class. I want to ask sir, do you think Nigeria is doing a lot as it regards this in terms of the judiciary concerning electronic voting? Because if we get educated on how to carry on with electronic voting, we get that. What about the people who actually interpret this law? Do you think, and what do you advise the judiciary?
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Itaha.
Thank you, sir. I have 2 questions. You talk of cleaning the data, INEC data for those that have died. What do you think is the bottleneck as to why you cannot clean INEC data 4 years apart? That's the first question. Then the second question is on issue of collation. We have seen that the major problem of Nigeria's election has to do with collation. Voting after voting, the INEC officials and collation officers have enough time to transmit this result in a way that technology can help. So if maybe you have left there now. My question now will be, what do you suggest on issues of handling collation, technology-wise, to be able to really assist in the collation of results that will be acceptable by the whole Nigeria. Thank you.
Okay. So, the lady.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Prof, for your presentation. Mine is more of a comment, not necessarily a question. It is in relation to the question of the last speaker. The registration of deaths, as including INEX data on death, is really not INEX mandate. There's supposed to be another government agency to register births and deaths, and then they harmonize and take it from there. The other part was also the comment on Nigeria not having an ID card management system. You're correct in a sense, because there's nothing like ID card management system. What we do have, though, is an identity management system with the card as a token. So if you have your national identification number, you have an ID that can be used for government services. Thank you.
Okay. I want to presume that from INEC, from NIMSI. All right. So since that was a comment, let's have Mr. Bakari ask a question. You have to make it short, sir.
Thank you, Prof. I'm looking at this issue of e-voting. What is the state of Nigeria infrastructural readiness for e-voting? And then looking at these features, regular features of registration, and we're having the NIFC doing registration. Can we not harmonize NIFC registration with the normal INEC registration? Would that be necessary if we have a registration body that is already established for registration of people, and that registration can be used for various issues, various services for the nation, and then we still go and invest a lot of funds for an INEC registration that is done every year? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm just going to, if you permit me, to start from the last question. In 2002, NIMSI, it was then called DNCR, was actually intended to, we were asked, the president of the day at that time actually asked us to collaborate with NIMSI and use their ID card for election. But not NIMSI, they were called DNCR at that time. That's a Department for National Civic Registration. But that ID card never came out. Well, some came out. But they won't tell you what happened, but I'll tell you. What happened is that there was a contractual disagreement, whereas the data is still on the servers there, but the data was locked by the provider, Sergeant. So can you imagine what would happen if we had, I actually advised my chairman at that time, look, you accept this, you're finished. That if you go with this, we are just finished. Just take it like that. And I will leave because I was just coming to the public sector. It won't cost me anything to resign and go back to my, in fact, I didn't want down my conveyance at that time so I can go back. So the question is why BVN? If you have a proper registration system, why BVN? Do we need BVN? No.
But it's the lack of trust in the government agency that is registering people that will make the banks go ahead and have their BVN, and maybe within 3 months they have it, and it's working perfectly. It's even now helping EFCC, ICPC, and possibly NIMSI too at this point in time. So I think that, again, NIMSI is a government organization. That's another thing we should fight against. So, voter register can be inflated. Names can be added to voter register and cards given to people even after registration. And they are a government agency. They may choose to be forced by the government in power to do this.
this will be a little bit difficult with INEC. So I think, and I said INEC has replaced almost the identity card thing because they are accepting INEC ID card in the banks. So NIPSI does not have any deadline. That's the other problem. INEC has deadlines. I hope okay, so you also asked on the state of Nigeria infrastructural readiness. You see, whatever technology we're bringing, we should contextualize it. Wherever there is no, mobile phones are now used by our parents. So we cannot bring a completely internet-based system that they probably use in the US or in Estonia, where the internet penetration is almost 100%. So we need to adapt the technology that we want to use to suit the infrastructure that we have. And it is possible, it is doable even at this time. Because before you walk 3 kilometers, and if you can punch in the figures from the polling unit, you find a way to send SMS to the center. They did it with the smart card reader in 2015. So we're ready to do that. And we can supplement the difficult areas, we can supplement with portable satellite systems anyway. So I think in terms of infrastructure, we're ready. We're not perfect, but we can use what we have now. Then registration, thank you for, the National Population Commission is actually responsible for registration of deaths and births. But I don't know to what extent they are supported to do what they ought to do. But we also have a problem, because if somebody dies, and you don't report it, what happened? Our culture we need to let people know that for us to be able to plan for them and for the living, we need to report those who are dead. So if you don't report to NPC, births are rarely reported, deaths are also rarely reported. So I think our attitude and voter education to say, because when INEC pastes the list, or when it is posted on the internet, if somebody will just indicate that this person is dead, I'm sure they will take away, they will verify, and then take away the names from the system. Okay, so there is a question on the judiciary. Is Nigeria ready? By way of the Electoral Act, I would say no. But when I was flipping through the very loaded program that you have here, I see that you're looking at lawyers who are working on cybersecurity and the sorts. I saw somebody from the original chamber there. There's a lot to be done. I know that the Evidence Act now, they accept electronic evidences as that has been integrated into our legal system, but there is more to be done. The National Assembly has a lot to do, because if they choose not to pass a bill, or somebody refuses to sign the bill, the bill we have as it is today is not sufficient to do a complete electronic voting. But I don't think changing the bill, because it's just talk and writing that does that, I don't think that is the most difficult thing for us if we want a good government. And I think we can push for it. Some people push for the young, not too young to vote, and they got it. So we can also push for electronic voting, and we'll get it. Cleaning the data set, that's the register. What is the bottleneck? The bottleneck is that we will also not talk. If you see a child, we will not say anything. And it's a huge database, a database of 80 million persons. And it's difficult to find people to sit down and look at the voter register. And then if we identify the young people, is somebody going to accept this is political will? If we get more people from the south where I come from than from the middle belt, then the people in position may say, oh, they want to disenfranchise us, and so they will throw it out. And nobody is going to look through 80 million data sets. So it has to be machine driven. But I'm saying there are technologies to do it. If we have the political will to use this technology, we can publish the names of people that we think are too young, and then let them come and prove that they're not too young. with death certificates, or maybe when they were born, or maybe the season that they were born, or declaration of age. Even if it's declaration of age, because you will have committed perjury if you go to lie that you are an age that you are not. It's a difficult thing, because I recall monitoring an election, and we saw a child, myself and the chairman saw a child voting. I would pull the child out, that you cannot vote. But the people were actually going to attack us. They said, because we came from Abuja, where we find food to eat, that the girl was actually simply suffering from kwashiorkor. That's why we... So, do you know that they ensure that, and that she's actually married, but you can be married at any age. It doesn't mean, when you're married, it doesn't mean you're 18. You're supposed to be 18 to vote. So, our attitude, when we are on the queue, what do? Our attitude in the system is very important. So collation, okay, what do I think about collation? I think collation can be done with, and I think INEC has the ability to do the collation. They did it, I think, with Osun, with several by-elections. They actually did it successfully. So collation can be done with their mobile device, or a tablet, even the smart card reader can be used to send. If you can send one figure, then you can send 50 figures too, even by SMS. So it is doable. It's just the political will to do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you. A round of applause. Thank you very much. Let's give another round of applause. We've had the perspective of an insider and also of an academic. You can see he gave us references. Other paper presenters never did that. Once I just saw that, I said, okay, Prof has come. All right. Thank you very much, sir. All right. So, sorry we have kept you so long. We ought to have had tea, so we are going to break for tea immediately. And after that, we'll proceed with other sessions. So, we'll break for tea. Tea is served to the left in the foyer there. So, let's just go right ahead. Or yes, you can call it brunch. Just pardon us. Yeah.
So I'm going to look at this topic quickly, so that we see what is happening in other jurisdictions. When I saw this topic originally, I told myself that simplifying electronic taxation. Simplifying simply means that you have something that is complex and you want to make it easier for everybody. And if you were to be looking at the context of electronic taxation, using digital tax administration in Nigeria, that currently does not exist. We try to pretend that it existed a little. Maybe as we go along, we'll see if we have that or we don't have that. But we are not going to be able to run away from that reality. It's almost impossible to have smart cities without having a smart taxation. It is impossible. They go together. So if what we are dreaming of is smart cities, electricity, just like Mr. Olotu has said, we are not going to be able to run away from this. This is something we must brace ourselves toward. This is something we must begin to look onto, because that is what is happening all over the world. So what I did was to look at this topic again and say, how can we get the clear feeling on this? Because we are not going to be looking at something that existed in Nigeria. I'm very sure that there's nobody here who will say that he has filed tax returns electronically in Nigeria. I don't know if somebody has filed tax returns electronically in Nigeria here now. I'm not sure. So if we are saying simplifying it, first of all, we're wondering, what do you want to simplify? I'm not sure I've seen this thing, so what do you want to simplify? So I tried to design the topic in such a way that we look at what exactly is the digital landscape when you talk about taxation. What is currently happening? Are there electronic taxation anywhere in the world? Is it actually happening? Is it just something we are dreaming about? If it is happening in other places, how does it look like? Is it beneficial to the individuals? Is it beneficial to governments? And where are we in Nigeria? What are we doing
to move along this line. So I want to have a discussion on that basis so that we just have a flow of electronic taxation where other people are, where we need to be, because again, I need to repeat that. If we are not thinking of that, we need to begin to think of that. And if you are someone that has listened to the current chairman of FIRS, you will see that he's always talking about a whole lot of ideas around taxation. If you listen to the news a month ago, he said from 2020, there will be taxation of e-commerce. I know there are a lot of people here that just order through Jumia, Amazon, and the rest. Government is already thinking along that line, saying, no, what are we going to do? Just allow people to order things from the UK and they receive in the post office, they receive through DHL, and that is all. So government is already thinking ahead. So if we're also not thinking ahead, if we are believing that, no, nothing will change, it's not Nigeria, everything will still be the way they are, you are lying. Because if what we are thinking about is the concept of smart cities, if what we are thinking about is electronic voting, you are not going to be able to think about these things in isolation. I can bet you that they go together. So when you move this one, the other one moves with it. So if you are not interested in electronic taxation, sorry. You may need to pass from Nigeria and go to some other places. But for Nigeria, that is where we are going to. Now, if you bring the idea of digital, again, just look back. If you were to look at 1994, look at between 1994 and today, what are you seeing in the digital space? I didn't remember that by the time I left university in 1999, actually there was no email addresses. The first time I saw email was 2000 when I was serving. I saw somebody's complimentary card and I saw its name on yahoo.com and I was wondering, what is this? That is just 2000. How many years ago? And where are we today? If you have your son who is 11 years old and you give him a smartphone, he will be shocked. He can actually open an email address. My son opened an email address and I told him, how did you do it? You are not supposed to be able to go to Gmail and open an email. And he said, yes. He checked it and he said the age. And he put 10 years. And he told him that he cannot open it. So he changed it to 12 years. So he told him the same thing. So he changed it until it accepted. I was shocked. So that is where we are. So technology has changed everything. And I can tell you, most of the phones you hold in your hand, you need to give them to your children who are below 12 years. That is when you will know that technology has gone somewhere else. The reason I use my phone for is just phone calls, WhatsApp, all those things. But when you give it to your little baby, it is, you see what it does with the phone. So, even though we know that technology has disrupted everything, the economy, businesses, I can tell you today that the disruption that will happen in the tax system will be unprecedented. And it's already happening in so many of the jurisdictions. So many things are happening in other places. So we'll just look at some briefly and you will see what I'm talking about. So then we'll just quickly be looking at, I won't waste much time because we have spent so much time today. We'll just look at the digital landscape. What are the activities already happening when you talk about digital taxation? Why is it different? Traditional tax system, digital taxation. Why is it different? And what are those things that are driving digital taxation? What are the drivers? You will see that when you look at the drivers, you will know that we cannot avoid them in Nigeria. We really cannot avoid them. We're already going into digital. Then we'll just look again at digital tax administration globally. Then we'll come back and look at where are we in Nigeria? What are the challenges? What can we do to make some progress? Or have we made some progress at all? If we have not made any progress, what do we need to do to make some progress? Now, you will notice that tax authorities around the globe are already using technology to put things in order, tax-wise. a whole lot of the places, if you were to look at, and the funny thing about what digital is doing in taxation is the fact that the countries that have gone very far in terms of electronic taxation, actually not the developed nations. They are the developing countries. So when you look at what is happening in Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, Russia, China, even South Africa that is close by us here, you'll be shocked what is going on. So we're actually not talking about the United States, UK, France. That's not where we are talking about. The countries that are a bit closer to us in terms of where we are the ones that have taken the digitization of the tax system to a higher level. Now, what digital taxation has done is simply the fact that we all know that in everything that has to do with technology, the industries we're supposed to be at the forefront. Industries are usually the leaders. Why government lag behind? If you look at everything in Nigeria, you see that if you go to a normal office, you see computers working everywhere. When you go to government offices, you see files littering everywhere. So in terms of what we normally see, what we are used to see, government usually lag behind in terms of anything that is innovative. But in terms of digital taxation, government is far ahead of the tax function. So the industries are the ones running after government. Government is the one thinking ahead. Government is the one bringing in the innovation. And the industries are the one running after government. Do you know what that does? It creates a whole lot of challenges for organizations. Now, because digital landscape is just changing from this to that every day, one of the major challenges you have seen around the globe on digital taxation is the fact that things are moving at a speed that your industry cannot even keep to pace with what is happening. And so what that does to the typical organization is additional cost. Where is the cost coming from? Maybe government come now and say, oh, going forward, don't file the returns in the way you used to file them. You need to file your returns in this mandatory manner. The organization were not prepared for that. So they need to hurriedly bring their systems up to date to deal with that. And that is not free. In some instances, you may even think of now recruiting people. One of the presenters in the morning said that if you say people will lose their job because of digital, there are people that will also now be employed. So it means that a lot of new things could happen in the organizations. You may need to bring in new people who have the capability to deal with what government wants them to do. Then again, you now begin to see instances of businesses, enterprises now thinking ahead to see how do we catch up with government. Like what the chairman of FRS has said, that from 2020, e-commerce taxation will happen in Nigeria. Now everybody is looking around. Those of us at the consulting end, we are getting requests from clients. Do you have some additional information on this? How do we deal with this? We also don't have any additional information. What we are doing is we are looking at what is happening in other jurisdictions. How is this being done in other places? So we are giving you an advice that is basically not what government may be thinking about. Government may be looking at a model that maybe look at like a Russian model, maybe look at like a Brazilian model. Now we are talking to you about maybe a UK model. So a whole lot of challenges. Now these are things we are not going to be able to avoid. And we run very fast because of the time. Now, why is there a difference between the traditional tax system and electronic taxation? Why is there a difference? I mean, tax is tax. For all I care, tax is all about paying a percentage of your money to the government. So why should there be a whole lot of stories, talk, challenges, if governments now decide to go digital for taxation? There are a lot of reasons. Now, in the normal traditional tax system, we all know that the traditional tax system is based on values created where the tax is charged. but it's not the same with digital. I give you a little instance. In the Nigerian tax treaties, the treaties we currently have has a big flaw that we have been dealing with. In some instances, unsuccessfully because of the use of digital other technology for the work people do. We have expatriate coming in from countries to Nigeria countries that have double taxation treaties with Nigeria. Now, if you look at the treaty says that if you are from the UK, for example, to Nigeria, you will be exempted from tax in Nigeria and be taxable only in the UK if you fulfill 3 conditions. Your income is not charged to a company in Nigeria. Your income is not borne by a company in Nigeria. And you are not providing your services. The word the treaty uses is your services are not exercised in Nigeria. Check the meaning of that word, exercise. In the past, before technology, exercise simply means that you need to work in Nigeria. You are going to be in Nigeria to do the work. But today you can sit down in the UK, and for the whole year, you are working from the UK. So it simply means that you can be in the UK and you are working in Nigeria. And the treaty we have with the UK said that you will be taxable in Nigeria if your duties are exercised in Nigeria. So even though the man we are talking about now is working for MTN in Nigeria, but he's sitting in the UK for all the period, he can actually sit down there and do his job. The treaty is saying it should not be taxable in Nigeria. In the last 2 weeks, there was a client that was assisting. They are based in Czech Republic, and we had a treaty with the country too. And this was a major issue. And I told them that no, yes, I agree with this treaty, but we are going to look beyond the treaty at this point and look at where this man will pay taxes. I said, I can't go to the tax authority and say that the man is working for a company in Nigeria will pay tax in Czech and not Nigeria because he's exercising his services from Czech. But exactly that is what the treaty has said. And what has caused that problem is technology. So in the past, you can easily determine that this man is taxable in Nigeria because he's working in Nigeria. But in the present, because of technology, you can no longer determine that. Value can actually be created somewhere else. So because of that, the traditional tax system must give way for the digital system. When the chairman of FRS said that taxation of e-commerce will happen from next year, again, people are wondering, how are we going to do it? I mean, this transaction did not happen in Nigeria. That is the point. These are transactions that result in billions of dollars going in and out of Nigeria for the whole year. And nobody's paying tax anywhere. Because today, you need to first of all determine where is this value being created. For the traditional tax system, it is so easy. If you go and buy anything in the supermarket, now you know that, yes, I bought this thing in the supermarket, so you know the place. But with technology, all that has changed. So again, because you cannot determine easily where value is being created with technology, it means that we can no longer be on the normal traditional tax system. We must go to electronic taxation. So taxation is now going after value. Now, the digital economy has an unparalleled reliance on intangible assets. I mean, the assets we are used to in traditional tax system will be your normal assets that you can touch, you can hold, and all those ones. When you are talking about the digital economy, you are talking about the cloud system, you are talking about robotics, you are talking about 3D printers, so many things that you just think you are talking outsourcing and a whole lot of assets all over the place. So if you are going to rely on your traditional tax system to subject this to tax, it is not going to work. You must move away from traditional tax system to electronic taxation system. So that is why, again, I will say that we cannot avoid it.
If we are looking for the good things we talk about in the morning here, smart cities, electronic voting, we are just going to hold this one in our hand while we are working into those things. And unfortunately, government will tell you that they need money to do those things. And the only way they can get the money is through the taxation. So if you don't want this to happen, then the other one will not happen. Globally, tax administrators, what are they looking at? They now want to get to the source of the data in real time. We don't have much time to talk. In Russia, if you were to call Uber, maybe a taxi driver in the street now in Russia, just having that conversation with the taxi driver, the information flows immediately to the tax authority. So if I pay the taxi driver 10,000, maybe Russian core, I don't know what the name of their currency, let me assume 10,000 naira. Before I finalize that transaction with the taxi driver, the tax office has determined the value added tax that should be applicable to that transaction. It is real life. In fact, in Brazil, when you start the conversation, all the information that relates to that transaction goes immediately to the tax office. So the tax office immediately also approves the information you have before the transaction can proceed. What I'm talking about now is just technology. Within seconds, the whole process is concluded. Now, so in Brazil, you cannot even issue an invoice unless the invoice is approved at the tax office. The invoice, normal invoice you issue in Nigeria now, if you issue the invoice in Brazil, the invoice is approved at the tax office before it can even come out to the customer. So the tax office will have determined the VAT, they are sure that the VAT was correct, they are sure any other tax that needs to be applied is correct before the invoice is issued. Remember that we are not talking about load from here to there. We are talking about a process that, as we are talking now, the process is completed. So globally, tax authorities are already moving away from the traditional system to a real system. You want to see the thing happen immediately. You are not looking at things happening in a month's time. Remember that in Nigeria, to file your VAT returns in Nigeria, you file the VAT returns of this month, next month. The utility tax returns of this month, next month. Your corporate income tax returns of 2019 is due when? 2020. Nobody is there giving that. In some of these countries we are talking about now, the process is as the transaction is happening. And government is not coming to tell you that, please give me, I saw, the director from FRS was here in the morning. I'm not sure she's here again. Nobody's talking about, bring your files, we are doing a spot check. We are from the tax office, we want to do spot check. Nobody's looking at that overseas. The spot check is done in the system. The system is telling you what tax you need to pay, what tax you don't need to pay. I can tell you, in another 10 years, tax professionals will basically have no job to do. Because government will assess you to tax, government will tell you what tax you need to pay, reconciliations will happen online, so the tax professionals will basically be looking for another job. I can tell you that. Because that is exactly what is happening in other jurisdictions already. So if you are thinking that in Nigeria they are still building heavy buildings, it is FRS who says you test to the building. FRS, ISACA, you are just wasting your time. Yeah. But that is where the globe is going to. We are not talking about things that we are dreaming of. Say, this is what I read and it's going to happen. No, we are talking about things that are happening. For those of you who travel out of the country, you see these processes. You just buy things in Europe, and when you finish, you go to the airport, you get your tax refund at the airport. What do you ask yourself? How does that happen? That you were just there for maybe even one day, and you get back to the airport, you say, go and do go and check your tax refund. They give you your refund. Or they give you how to get the refund when you get back to your country. That is the process. Now, so what are the drivers of digitization? what are the drivers? OECD is a big organization. Nigeria is not a member of OECD, although we support what OECD does. But OECD is made up of some of the biggest economies on earth. They are all faced with the challenges of deficits in their budgets. If you saw the Nigeria budget of which the president read a few weeks ago, you know the deficit of that budget is almost it's so large. So even as at the time of planning the budget, government was already telling you that we are going to spend 1 million naira. Our total revenue for the whole year will be 500,000 naira. We'll find a way to finance the difference, the deficit budget. So it's not just Nigeria, it's not peculiar to Nigeria. Government activities have become large, that you need more money to keep pace with what is needed. I mean, the man who talk in the morning talk about smart cities. If you know what we need to do to get to what he was talking about, you will be shocked in terms of money. Even if these monies are not embezzled, you will be surprised. So government needs a lot of money. So what is happening globally is because of deficit budgets in all over the place, people are looking at other means of making more money. So this is one of the drivers of what? Digitization. So the man who facilitated the money is a digital expert. If Lagos State government come to him now to say, what do we do? I mean, he was giving some examples of where things can actually be done. You see the trailer men on the road in Lagos, and he just talk about what needs to be done. That's the idea of what can be done immediately. But all this costs money. And I'm also sure that if government was sensitive enough to go to him and say, what do we do on these tax issues? He has a lot of, by sitting down, look around and say, no, we can do this to bring more tax revenue. So digital is being driven in one hand by the need to get more money to finance government budgets. Government also looking at businesses. So in the past, government was looking at the normal natural resources. Government has gone away from looking at natural resources. All over the globe, government is looking at businesses to raise finances. Government is no longer just looking at leaving the businesses to make millions and share to their shareholders. Government wants now to see what can we get from these businesses. And government also know that the only way you can keep pace with businesses is to do something they are not doing. If we ask them to file their tax returns after next year, they would have done a lot of magic. We will be with them in the transaction. If you sell 20 loaves of bread, we know that the VAT is 2 kobo per loaf. So 20 is 2 kobo times 20. We want to get it as it is happening. We don't want to wait for you till next year and say, well, this is my turnover. We are not waiting. Now, more countries are relying on consumption taxes. This is a major area. Indirect taxes, VAT. Russia, last year, bridged their VAT gap by over 20% by just moving to digital processes to tax VAT. I mentioned to you that in Russia, the moment you start the transaction, the tax office receives the information. So government is able to, government collects, while you are doing your own transaction, you are doing what you are doing, government is also calculating its own money immediately. Governments are focusing on real time, so that's what we are seeing now, real time. We don't want you to file your returns next year. We want to know what we are getting now. Tax authorities are gaining global visibility. If you recall, I don't know how many people will remember, a month ago, the federal government gazetted something they call a CROS regulation. What that regulation simply does is, no time is fast spent, okay. What that regulation simply does is, make countries to agree to pass information about residents who have forms in other countries to the tax authorities of their country. So if you have monies in the UK, for example, and the UK is part of the group that signed that agreement, the UK tax authority can pick your bank statement and send it to FRS in Nigeria to look at what you have there. Nigeria presented that regulation last March. Many people are not aware. Now, because tax authorities are gaining global visibility, there is no way you can share such information unless you are at the realm of digitization. FRS is not going to go to those places to say, please give us the file of the month. The files are exchanged electronically. Now, quickly, because my time is spent, I'm not going to look at what the various things we have talked about. I just want to quickly look at where we are in Nigeria. So, where are we in Nigeria? Are we at the point of digital taxation in Nigeria? Now, the FRS some time ago launched the Integrated Tax Administration System. They call it ITAS. And according to the FRS, they say ITAS is aimed at ensuring tax administration and simplifying the tax compliance process in Nigeria through the use of technology. Lagos State government also launched recently the Lagos State Enterprise Administration System, ETAS, with the same objective. Rivers State government introduced RIV TAMIS, the same objective of simplifying the tax processes. Now, because I will not have much time, I quickly want us to look at, yes, we have had this from the FRS, from Lagos and from Rivers State. Let's quickly look at what the FRS has achieved so far with the digitization. Now, one of the key features of ITAS for FRS was online submission of tax returns. What was the success rate? Not successful. This was launched more than 3 years ago. But as of today, you still cannot file tax returns electronically to the Federal Inland Revenue Service. I simply don't know why. I don't know. I'm not a tech expert, I'm just a tax practitioner. But if the director of FRS was here, you can ask her. You cannot file tax returns. But the question is, if we have launched ITAS, and the purpose of one of the key features was to file tax returns electronically, how is it that it did not work? Now, another feature of the planned FRS launch of ITAS was automatic allocation of withholding tax credit notes and receipt for taxpayers. So if you were to make tax payment electronically or pay to the bank, you get your receipt immediately through ITAS. But as of today, the only receipt you can get within 24 hours is Naira receipts. And do you know how many organizations pay taxes to FRS in foreign currencies? So many organizations. Organizations pay taxes from overseas. I have clients that pay taxes in USD from America, and for like a year and a half, I was chasing FRS to get evidence of payment. They paid through JP Morgan, through to FRS account, and for like 1 year, we can't get evidence of tax payments. So these are the levels we are seeing in Nigeria. When we are saying in other countries, people are, you start a transaction, tax authorities already know what you are doing. In Nigeria, we even start the process, and nobody knows why it's not working. The only thing I know, okay, FRS also said online correspondence with the FRS. So the idea is you can do all the transactions online, electronically, with the FRS office. It has not worked. Now for Lagos, Lagos started their process last year, and we're filing, they said everybody must file electronic tax returns. In fact, we almost left Lagos tax office because it was not possible to file. So we now say, okay, bring the returns to the headquarters. We talk to somebody that will help you impute it into the system. It's no longer electronic filing. For Rivers State, online filing was successful, but the other processes were not successful. They said, okay, file tax returns electronically, then you get your taxpayer certificate also electronically. The returns went in successfully, but the other processes never worked. Now, so quickly, I just want us to look at some of the challenges to electronic taxation in Nigeria. Lack of incentive to pay tax is a major issue. There are a lot of people you talk to, and just like we were talking about this class in the morning now, many of the people that were here preferred the other class because, I mean, you just ask them, why did I want electronic taxation in the university? Why? People are not incentivized to pay taxes in Nigeria, and this is something that's so important. In the other jurisdiction we were talking about, the beautiful things about it, we are trying to talk about, you will be shocked some of the things they are saying, why they are even interested in ensuring that the electronic tax process happens properly. So Nigerians are not seeing the incentive. Why should I pay tax? It's a major question. For those of us who are tax practitioners, we try our best on a daily basis to explain to our clients why they should pay taxes. When it's not supposed to be. I have the same challenges, but I'm explaining to them to say, no, you need to pay taxes. Illiteracy. I mean, I saw the prof talk about electronic voting. And he said, his parents at home, would they be able to scroll and vote? So if people cannot vote electronically, are you sure they can go into the computer to begin to file tax returns? I want you to answer that question yourself. We have a complex tax system. I have a Lagos State tax identification number. I also have a Delta State tax identification number in the same country. Maybe if I was in Abuja now, I would also have FCT IRS tax identification number. So this is not what happened in other places. In other places, what you have is a team number that covers all the transactions. Whether you are dealing with FCT IRS, whether you are dealing with FIRS, it's the same number you have. In Nigeria, you can have 20 depending on how many places you are operating in. Lack of necessary laws. The laws are simply not there, I can tell you. Then awareness is a major challenge. So what can we do? This is the last slide for this. Sorry, I'm taking time. What do we need to do to simplify digital taxation in Nigeria? Because like I've said, we are not going to be able to run away from it. It is something that we must embrace. It's something our government must embrace if they must move away from deficit budgeting. Proper monitoring and maintenance of the online system. I mean, I'm not seeing why if FRS install ITAS with the aim of simplifying the tax system. And one of the key features of IFAS was to file corporate tax returns electronically, file VAT returns electronically, and for more than 3 years. It is not working, and it cannot be fixed. Is that possible? Why can it not be fixed? If the man who talked in the morning was here, I would have asked him, is there a reason why, I'm not a tech expert, is there a reason why a system you install, and the system is not meeting what it should do, and it cannot be fixed? Why? So proper monitoring of and maintenance of the online system is so key to simplifying electronic taxation in Nigeria. The online system should contain incentives that will attract taxpayers. In Portugal, if you buy anything and include on it your taxpayer ID, your number goes straight to the state lottery and it can become a major win for you. So you have some reasons why you want to even file your returns electronically. In the US, if you file your returns electronically, you can get the status of your tax refund within 24 hours. But if you file the returns through the normal mailing system, it takes you 4 weeks to determine the status of your refund. So, I mean, you have a reason why you want to file electronically. Now, we need to create needed awareness. This is key. The tax authorities cannot just publish a guidance and say we have installed reef tamis, ITAS. And my mother who is in the village don't even know that. We need to create the awareness in Nigeria. So the online system should contain safeguards against cyber tax crime. We are talking about the Yahoo boys now. We don't want to include the Yahoo tax. It will be a major challenge. Then we need to enact laws. We currently don't have laws dealing with anything. Thank you so much for your time.
Sorry, we are so constrained for time, Mr. Athora. I know that you would have done much more, but that which we have received was sufficient, right? So let's give a round of applause. You see, it touched a lot of raw spots and areas that, of course, I know will provoke a lot of questions. We just have 5 minutes for that because we really have to pick up the pace. But let's see. Let's take 2 questions, and we'll move on.
quickly.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Atora, for the lucid presentation. You talk about the problem, let me say, challenges brought by the new technology when it comes to taxation, and gave some examples of the cases where Nigeria has agreements with other countries. And now that Nigeria is planning on going digital in terms of taxation, what, in your opinion, can be done, on one hand, to ensure accuracy of tax returns to be collected by the government and reduce tax avoidance in this case, while, on the other hand, avoid double taxation to businesses and citizens?
Maybe more than one jurisdiction, right? Yes, exactly. That's right. So that's one question. Let's have the last one.
Thank you, Pepper Presenter. My question is, don't you think there is need for harmonization of database, in terms of we talk about the biometrics, you need to have some biometrics.
All the time I've gone to renew the driver's license, I do data capture again. I go to the same office. So I'm not saying I did one in Abuja, I did one in Lagos. I go to the same office where I did the first one. When it expires, I go for renewal. I took data again. When I go the next time, I took data again. So it's another big challenge. Why are we not harmonizing data? Why should I have a taxpayer ID in Lagos for Lagos State? I have another one for Delta State. Maybe if I move to Abuja now, we have another one for Abuja. These are easy things that can be done. We are just hoping that somebody will do them one day. Yeah, so I go back to your question of, so the man who was supposed to pay some tax in Nigeria and pay some tax in his home country, what we were kicking against was the fact that he should even pay anyone in his own country. We are saying that the old tax should be paid in Nigeria. Forget about the fact that I'm a consultant. I'm first of all in Nigeria. So my major concern is this money should belong to Nigeria. Don't tell me stories of digitization. And because of digitization, you say the money should be paid to your home country. So we're not even talking about dividing the tax. We're talking about this work you are doing. You are doing it for a Nigeria company. When you go back home and you're working for your company there, you can pay tax there. But this one is here, pay it here. Accuracy of tax returns and avoidance of double taxation. Yes. So what has happened so far? Because of digitization of the tax system, the OECD has been doing a lot of work. If you look at it, we didn't have time to talk about C by C reporting. OECD has recently brought the C by C reporting, which now even require companies to file a return. If you have, let's say Julius Berger is in Nigeria, when Julius Berger file returns to the FIRS, they also need to file the returns of all the places where they are operating on Earth to FIRS in Nigeria. So the account you are filing now, since last year, has to show your operations globally if you are a global company. The idea is, if you are saying the only income you are earning in Nigeria is just $1 million, tax authority should also see what is your level of expenses in Nigeria. Because what was happening in the past is, a company can declare a loss in Nigeria and declare profit in Netherlands or somewhere else. But in Netherlands, they have no operation. They just have one small office, maybe with one person manning the office. And that place is where the profit is recognized. So now with C by C reporting, that has become a thing of the past. You file your return showing this is our Nigeria operation, this is our Ghana operation, and you file all the information to the tax authority of each of the countries. It's a whole lot of challenges. So that's what I was saying at the beginning time. Digitization is bringing out a lot of new challenges to the companies. But again, that is where government wants to go.
Thank you very much, Mr. Atora. Let's give you a round of applause. He did very well with the limited time that he had available to him. All right, so we're going to move ahead quickly. I believe that the same thing they should have finished in the other hall. And so this announcement should be made as well in the other hall. We're going to move ahead to our next paper, right? And we have two sets of papers just as we did just now. The first is information interchange, standard policy in healthcare, information interchange, standard policy in healthcare. And that is going to be taking place here. And presenting that is going to be Dr. Olusegun Adeniji. Right? And then we have simultaneously in Hall 2, digital farming. And that is going to be presented by Mr. Nwachimere Chukwuemeka. That is in Hall 2. So if your choice of paper is digital farming, then it means that you have to migrate to Hall 2. If your choice is information interchange standard policy, information interchange standard policy in healthcare,